Are we live? I think we're live. Good morning, Sir Rick.
Good morning, America, and all other parts of the world. And it's whatever time it is here in the afternoon in
Oh, yeah,
England.
it's lunchtime there, right?
Nice and sunny today, which is very unusual. We've had a lot of rain and a lot of wind. We've been putting up a greenhouse, so it's been an interesting time in the front garden. It's been a bit blowy, but I've had the dogs out this morning. It's been lovely.
Yes, we had snow this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, we got 8 inches of snow, and it kind of wasn't expected because our groundhog didn't see his shadow. So that means we're supposed to have spring. So that didn't seem to happen. So we got crazy snow. I see Gemma's here. Hi, Debs. Hi, Gemma. TD's here. Hutch jumped in and jumped out. He's got to work. And he said Rick's always got a bit of wind.
Yeah, we're off camera when we was doing the censoring it. Just a little batty at the back.
I don't think they censor for that. I think we can
channel the inner Rick Nail.
So good morning, everybody. So this is week 2 of our little mini series that we're doing together, Rick and I. And so, we're still kind of fleshing out what this Monday morning thing is going to be. What we want to do is we want to give you guys a great start to your week. We want to infuse you with some good spirit and kind of lift you up. And first of all, everybody, if you're not subscribed to Rick, I put his details and the link in the comments. Just go over there. I'm going to pin it to the top in just a minute. But we were talking off camera that we work in a spiritual business, and when you work in a spiritual business, you get like 2 different kinds of people. I don't know, like I'm being like really extreme, but you get like the really, and I apologize to anybody if they're hippy dippy on here, but you get these hippy dippy types that are like, wearing like these long flowing clothes, and they're like overly positive and overly like spiritual, and they won't even step on grass because the grass has feelings, and like it just becomes an unsustainable kind of spirituality. And then you get people that go way over to the dark side, and like everything is like spells and curses and hexes and crazy stuff. Rick, you have the same experience, right? Like you kind of see those extremes.
You've got your hippies, and then you've got your turds in the punch bowl of life.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, exactly. But like, do you ever experience negativity from other professionals? Like, like I'm so glad that like I met so many really cool professionals here through YouTube and through my connections in YouTube. But like, do you ever meet like really gnarly, nasty people in the business?
I've told this story now quite a few times over the last couple of years in particular, because I worked in the prison service for 12 years, 4 months, right? And this is my personal experience. I dealt with a lot of darkness, a lot of difficulties with my own mental health, and I shared a lot of common ground with Hutch and things like that. And so when I came out of that, I'd got this sort of, I don't know, negative vibration. I'd kind of like got indoctrinated into that sort of system where everything was, there was an ulterior motive to everything, and it was really difficult, and there was a darkness attached to it. So when I discovered the spiritual path, my head went, all right, all of these love and light people, I'm not going to need any of this darkness whatsoever. I'm not going to encounter this. And then when you go into a room full of people and somebody throws a pound coin in the middle of the room, and then all of a sudden, all of the other sides start to come out of there because you're taking somebody else's space. You might be competition for that pound coin, and all of the bitches' claws come out. right? And I've said this many times before. I must have been the most naivest person in the world, because when I walked out that prison service, I thought, right, that's my dark days gone. And then you walk into a room full of so-called love and light and professional people, and they've just got this masquerade going on. I'm not saying this is the same for everyone, because like you, I have been very fortunate to meet some of the people that I've met along the road. But there's others there where they've got that lovely veneer on top, but you scratch beneath the veneer and then you really find out what the substance is. And I have done the same consistently since I started in this business. I've just been me. The only reason that I put this on, and that is for confidence, because it's my signal to spirit when it's time to work, that they come through me, and it's a character that I can hide behind. But you come and speak to me at my table as a human being. You come and speak to me outside the venue while I'm packing my car up. You email me, whatever it is that people do, you get this, you get me, right? There is no second part of me. There is no ulterior motive. So I find it increasingly difficult to deal with people when you're listening to the blah that's coming out of their mouth, and then look at the actions behind the screen when you scratch the veneer, and you're just going, you might have said that, but you didn't mean it, did you? And I think this is what makes me laugh with spiritual people, is they forget that they're talking to spiritual people as well. So we have inklings as well about you. So when you start coming out with all of your shite, what was it? Isht, we had to say.
No, I don't think we get popped for shite. I say it all the time. So I don't think we get popped for that. Go figure.
So when they come out with all of the shite, we're aware of it too. You know, we're all in this. We're all in this together. So anybody there that is trading on their ego, you know, oh darling, look at me, I'm a performer, worship me. You're going to get found out, either by us that are at the level where we're just going, right, I'm going to call you out, or spirit, the universe, God, you guys, whatever it is that you want to, you are going to get called out, and eventually you're going to get flushed down the carsey. Ooh, he's on his ranting chair already.
That's okay. I mean, and that's why I wanted to bring up this topic, because, you know, as content creators, you and I can get some negative comments. Like, we can have some, and like, you know, to be sure, I'm not talking about like the misunderstanding, you know, somebody puts a comment in and submits on misunderstanding. But like, you know, truly negative comments, you know, that are attacking either our professionalism or our ability, or our authenticity for that matter, or integrity for that matter. You know, that is something that I have a lot of difficulty with. You know, I truly believe in what I'm doing here. I truly believe that I can help people. Now, in my celebrity videos, I will call out a nutter, like, you know, a nutter is as a nutter does. So if somebody is acting amok, if someone is being completely ridiculous, I will call that celebrity out, and I will be frank about it. But I try to round out my readings and say, well, what can they do? I've even done this with the Runaway Royals. Like, I've said, okay, well, how can they kind of smooth out these sheets and kind of make things a little bit better for themselves? Or even I've gone so far as to do, how can Megan achieve her ends? What's the best pathway for her to achieve her ends? And the answers that I get are kind of interesting. But, you know, I try and be as balanced as possible. So when someone comes to me and goes, no, you are wrong. Okay, well, that's your opinion. You know, thank you very much. And my response, you know, I have a few different responses. One is, I hope you have a better day tomorrow. That's like, you know, an easy one for me. Hope your day gets better, because you're just sitting here yelling at me. And what are the other two responses? Like, I just try and be as nice as possible. You know, one of my best friends, she said, we were talking about being bullied in school. You know, we had some people that you know, bullied me when we were growing up, and she was like, nobody ever bullied me because they were afraid of me. I was unpredictable. And I said, yeah, like I got a lot of flack in school. And she goes, that's because you were always so nice. And I like never thought of myself as like being nice. Like I was always like big goofball, you know? But I never thought of myself as being like nice to people. But apparently, like I've always been really nice to people, unbeknownst to me. And I think that, you know, sometimes people mistake that, you know, kindness for weakness, that old nugget or nut. What am I trying to say? Chestnut, that old chestnut. You know, I think when we are faced with people that truly like you know, I've never watched a YouTube video or had someone say something to me that enraged me to the point where I had to like go back at them like you know you know, full bore, loaded for bear. Like I've never had somebody do that. You know, I mean, the closest we came, well, I'm not going to get into that. That was a whole Facebook personal thing, but um you know, I think being spiritual people and having that experience with other professionals and other people that are in this sphere that we're in, it's really shocking to have those negative people come up to you and you know, kind of get in your face about it. Like you know, it's almost like you, because you really feel like, all right, I'm trying to help people, I'm trying to uplift people, trying to make things nice, and then somebody comes in your face and goes, no, you're an idiot. You know, what how do you respond to those kinds of people? What's your go-to response for that?
Well, I'm gonna be truthful here. That there'll always be at a show will be a sarcastic comment because I am the king of sarcasm and I make no bones about it. I will say something off the cuff, something that's just come out of my mouth without the handbrake. But the truth of it is, and this is part of what my learning journey with the way that I work. I got home after a similar sort of incident where I'd had a run in with somebody who basically tried to structure my experiences through their own lenses. You know, something that I'd said, they took it in the wrong way. And I said to them, why on earth didn't you just come and speak to me at the end and whatever? So they were really miffed about it all. So I did my best to do some damage limitation. And I came home and I'll be honest, my feelings were hurt. And I came home and my wife said to me, right, how's things gone? So, of course, usual form. I didn't want to sort of keep retelling the story and rehashing it. I certainly wasn't looking for sympathy because anybody that knows me knows that sympathy is between shit and syphilis in the dictionary. So I was just looking for some understanding, but I was going to tailor it round what I wanted to bring the conversation through with. And I said to her that I'd had this particular run-in with this person, and she said, and what does that mean? She said, out of the people that you focused on, you focused on one comment out of 75 other good comments. And I went, yeah, okay, yeah, fine. I accept that. I says, and I listened to all the advice and guidance that she gave me because she always does it through love and at certain stages wanting to protect me. And then I said to her with feedback, and I'm just picking up on Gemma's comment there when she's saying that she's had sort of negative feedback about the autism and things like that. The thing is with that, Gemma, that people will come at you when you're hitting the truth, right? They'll go into an attack mode because they're feeling attacked themselves. And I said to my wife, all of this thing, all of what she said to me was relevant. However, there is that stage in your life where the comment hits, right? And if it's got under your radar or under your protective armor, it leaves a mark. Then you start to run your programming about how you get past that, whether you just like dismiss it, throw it away, or find a coping strategy. But there's a gap between you recognizing the wound and then moving on to that next point. So I said to her, right, I'm going to be honest here. That got under my radar. That upset me. I'm feeling really sensitive about it. I know that's probably a bit soft, but that's where I'm at. So I'm going to take the next hour, and I set myself a deadline with this. I'm going to take the next hour and I'm going to have a sulk. Right? I'm going to have a sulk about it because it hurt my feelings, and you shouldn't hurt my feelings because I'm a nice guy and all I'm trying to do is help. but I'm going to sulk over it. And then after that hour, I'm going to give myself a slap and realize that whatever that person said ain't going to have a blind bit of difference on my life going forward. So it goes in the ethic bucket. And for those that have watched me before, you know how that's I designed quite a large one so that we can keep constantly filling it up, and then just dismiss it. But it's that time frame. I don't always know how long it's going to be. So the comments do hit home, the negativity, but know this to be true. It'll only hit home for a while, because if you attack me, be very, very sure that I will find a way of getting back. There will be a comment. There'll be some sarcasm. It will head in your direction. And I noticed somebody on here put karma on there, right? I don't personally, I don't know about karma. I'm not sure. I've got a foot in both camps with it. But I do believe in what goes around comes around. And the negativity that I've had thrown at me at times, I've been stood in the background when they've been having a conversation with somebody else about the situation. I'm going, I was there. I was there. And that's not what you said. That is not what you put. So people on here, this is a good thing. And Hutch, if he was on here, and he would be able to back me up with this. We had what in the prison service, what we used to call pad warriors, right? And pad warriors were basically prisoners. The first one through that door, I'm going to kick your head in. I'm going to smash you up. I'm going to do all of this sort of business. Then you'd open the door and there'd be 65 stone of humanity stood the other side with a shield and the kit on. And then you just hear this little noise. Well, you know, right, because I'm facing you right on. It's all right attacking people when you've got a keyboard.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and you're throwing your opinions out there, because what you're doing is you're throwing your shit energy out. You're throwing your rubbish like laundry water out there for everybody to look at. All it tells me is that you're an insecure little prat, because you're attacking somebody that is saying to you, I'm not attacking you, I'm trying to help. And if they're getting triggered by a comment on a celebrity that's got bugger all to do with their real life, oh my God, how sad are you? If that is all you've got to do with your daily allowance of energy is attack somebody that is bringing in upliftment, what does that say about your sad little lives? And there's my pad warrior rant, because I'm behind the screen, you know, but that's my response.
I totally agree. You know, I think, you know, the safety of being in a different location, you know, not saying this to my face. Like if I was at a symposium or a conference and another psychic or card reader or medium came up to me and was like, you know, I like, that would be a totally different conversation, you know, if they had something of substance to come to me with. But, you know, for someone just to criticize my work and criticize me or come after me personally, and we see a lot of this, you know, I think it's and at the same time be purporting to be this elevated spiritual person. I don't think that's really a good path. So I think for us, like, you know, practical application of, you know, go allot yourself some time to sulk about it and kind of process, you know, what happened. But I think, you know, being the warrior that you are, the angel warrior that you are, I think stepping to that with a healthy dose, a healthy spoonful of positivity is a really good response to it. Because, you know, when we talk about energies and the energy level that we set in our home, in our relationships, in our workplace, we can deflect that kind of negativity. Hi, Samantha. We can deflect that kind of negativity with an application of positivity. Now, Rick and I are not, we're not cotton candy or candy floss tarot readers and psychics. We're not like that. So, you know, and I did a private reading the other day, and the gal said to me, she was like, don't sugarcoat anything. Tell me like it is. And I was like, oh, don't worry. I will. I'm going there. Don't worry. I said, I'm not going to blow smoke. because that doesn't do anyone a good service. That's not giving value for the money that they pay for a private reading, or for the work that I'm doing for them. It just doesn't make any sense. So today we're going to give you guys some practical skills and some upliftment to deal with the people that have negative comments like this. And there's a lot of brouhaha in our community. Rick and I were talking about it before we came on. There's a very well-known YouTuber that is dealing with some allegedly criminal trolling. And it's, as Hutch says, where you put your energy, things will grow. Where your energy goes, things will grow. So, I think that the YouTube channels that are fighting this are fighting the good fight. I want to make that clear. I do think they're fighting the good fight. And I think they're doing it the best way possible given the circumstances. But what we want to do is, I hate to be like we're battling with darkness with light, but it sounds so melodramatic, but we really are. And I think if we chip away at that stone and we just throw a little bit of positivity out there, just a little bit at a time, I think we can kind of overcome that. And it creates this energetic armor for us that it's going to deflect. I'm a Cancer. I feel everything right to my core. If somebody says, "Oh, you look, a little tired today," like I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm hideous." I take it to heart. But I think, with people that are truly coming after integrity and authenticity, it hurts a little bit more. And I need, one of my things to elevate myself is I need to just be like, okay, well, I can't make everybody happy. I'm not, what does Trevor say? I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I might be their drink
Glass
of
of
gin.
whiskey.
Yeah. So, or whiskey. That's it. And I love whiskey. I like all liquors, but so let's do this today, Rick. I have Kyle Gray. He is a lovely Scottish guy. His book is great. All of his books are great, I should say. I've gotten 3 of them so far, and they're all really terrific. But I have his Raise Your Vibration cards, and I think maybe we'll do some Raise Your Vibration, a little bit of tarot, and a little bit of mediumship, and see if we can uplift our people that are in here. What do you say?
Absolutely, I'm up for
All
that.
right. So let's start out with our girl Gemma, because everybody loves Gemma, and she said she needed a little uplift. Gemma, this is our Monday morning fun stuff. I didn't turn off the super chats and super stickers, so no one donate today. We're not donating today. This is our gift to you guys. So just, you're watching, you're commenting, you're engaging. That's all the payment we need today. We're lifting you guys up. This is mid-morning uplift. I don't even know what we're going to call this. We'll eventually come up with a good name for it, right? So Gemma, this one's for you. We'll let Rick tune into spirit, and I got truth is my teacher for you, sweetie pie. And I'm just going to bring my camera down a little bit. Truth is my teacher. So what does that mean exactly? What is truth? I know there's a lot of debate about, my truth, their truth, everybody's truth, our experiences. So when we talk about truth fits right. It feels right. It's a good pair of shoes. It's a well-fitting bra. I'm sorry, I had to say that, Rick. But it's what fits with your sensibilities, your morality, and the grace that you give to your culture and community around you. So this is about playing within the rules and what works for you. So, Samantha said Monday morning magic. I like that one. We might use that one. Thank you, Samantha. So when we talk about truth, it's the things that fit for you. And we can see when other people say, well, this is my truth, this is how I see things, this is my sensibilities in regard to a given topic. You're going to see them kind of go down a different pathway. So, lean into that truth and what resonates and what works best. It really is, the direction that we should go. So if we get naysayers that say, oh, we don't want to hear about autism, we don't want to hear about Asperger's, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about that. We all have an experience. You have an experience with autism that is extremely personal. I have an experience with autism that's extremely personal. We have a number of people in my family that are on the spectrum. So my truth may be a little bit different from someone else's experience. I have an in-law who, disagreed with my experience with autism and Asperger's, and just was like, you don't know what we're talking about. And the reason why she said that is because, my Aspie is much more high functioning. It doesn't mean that it's any more challenging. It just means that, the challenges are different. So, my Aspie may not have had to learn how to conduct herself in public, but she may have had to learn how to deal in a one-on-one situation. So, it's very different. So, those people that come to you, or those people that are in the comments and they say, oh, this, that, or the other thing, you're wrong. Someone's always going to tell you that you're wrong, like that. They're going to say, yes, you're wrong. What you should do is walk from them and not worry about filling their cup. So we've got the Five of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and Death in reverse. You should walk from them and let them hang out in their ignorance or their lack of openness to more information. This is crippling them, not being open to other perspectives. There's no one fits all for this particular topic. Not accepting the gems that Gemma hands out about autism and Asperger's is making them poorer people for the experience. And they're resistant to transforming or moving forward. So the people that will benefit from your teaching, from your experience, from hearing your stories and vignettes that you've experienced, the people that are going to benefit from that are going to hear you. The people that aren't benefiting from it and that are resistant to hearing it, just ignore them. Just walk from them. I mean, I wouldn't even say this is a smile and wave situation. It's just like, okay, that's great. That's your opinion. Rick, what do you get on this? What's Spirit talking about to you?
Well, the biggest word that shot out, or words should I say, that shot out into my mind when you were talking was stay in your integrity. What tends to happen is when people put out an unpopular opinion, and if you watch the structure of the wording that they put out there, they will throw, we spoke about hand grenades early on, or truth bombs and things like that. They will throw something out that will explode. And what they're actually looking for themselves is validation for their own opinion. If they don't get anybody that validates that wrong opinion, then they soon fizzle out. They don't have the energy to do it. So my advice to you, Gemma, is to stay in your integrity. And much like you were saying there, that your energy is not going to reach everybody. But my question would always be, well, if you've got a genuine disinterest in the subject matter, you've got an off button. Same as what I've got. You have got that option. Why would you stay around and use your life's energy, your life's hours, to comment on something that you've obviously got no interest or no information or no direct prior knowledge of? And that's a bit of a twisting in my mind. Like, you get attacked by somebody and somebody will say something negative and you go, and then what? So what bearing does that have on me? Thank you for your opinion. Now bugger off. The exit's on your left. So my thought is with my training in doing neuro-linguistic programming is for anybody that's tuning in here, just imagine that you are a royal, right? You're a king or a queen or whatever you want to be of your own land. People view life through their own lens, right? So equally, if us as the ruler of that land, we can look at our life through our lens. So me, if I'm head of passport control in my own realm, I'm not letting the buggers in. Quite simple. I'm not letting them interfere in my headspace. Like I say, there are the odd exceptions, but I'm a human being at the end of the day. I see my spiritual gift in inverted commas, and I'm not going to do it because it annoys me when I do inverted commas. It drives me up the wall. So just bear in mind that I'm sat here now crushing my fingers so I don't do it. See, failed.
I live in inverted commas.
For some reason, it just triggers me. But not letting people into your circle. Don't let the invaders cross your passport control, because yet again, you're then investing your life's hours in a response to that comment. And if the comment doesn't need responding to, then don't respond to it. And it's difficult. And I get that, Gemma, because I'm the same. And what I've discovered over the years is if we can put up all of the fronts we like, that we're tough guys, tough ladies, we've got that warrior spirit about us. But there are days when we're focused on something else and it catches us off guard. So I talk about truth and integrity there. And it's just keep fighting the good fight. We've had a lot of discussions about this. And what tends to happen, and I ask Spirit about this because I'm going through quite a lot in my own head at the moment. And I said, what the hell's going on? Give me some guidance just for me. Let's be selfish for once. I'm a giver, right? I give 100% into every reading, every conversation that I have with people, because my dream, my hope for humankind, that anybody that interacts with me and we get on a roll like this, is that some part, some little seed, some little kernel there will resonate with you, and then you'll be able to pass that on. You know. So they said to me at the minute, what the stage that I'm going through, they called it purging. So whether that's experiences, whether that's energy, whether that's people, I am shedding layers. I am getting rid of people. So to do that, I've got to go into the real dark spots. We spoke about the balance between love and light, right? What I want for people is the light. But somebody has got to go into the darkness to fetch you out of there, to face you up to the light. So that's what I do. That is my job. And how I do that is by maintaining my integrity, right? I do not know everything. There's no part of me when I sit down, when I do a reading for somebody, can 100% say that by the time you've left my area or had a discussion with me, that you're going to feel 100% better. Because that is not in my reality. So when I talk to people, I talk about being in your reality. So ruling your own mindscape, managing your own mind. I spoke at length to somebody yesterday about having self-diagnosed ADHD. And they sort of went back like that. And I went, I agree with you, because I'm going through the same thing. I haven't had an official diagnosis, but I strongly believe that I'm going down that route. Now, that's a statement there that is going to draw people's opinions. Yes. And mark my words, I couldn't care less. Because I am living that in my reality. And what I'm looking for is resolution. I'm not looking for validation for that. I don't want anybody to all of a sudden go, oh, bless you, you're going through a tough journey. No, I want to learn how to manage that. And this is what, when I stand with people, and I don't think people are vulnerable. I think people are incredibly strong in the majority of times. But we all need somebody to lean on at times, no matter how strong we are, no matter how resolute we are. There's certain things that life throws at us in our realities that upskittle us, that knock us out. So all you can do, Gemma, is to stay in your integrity. Do what you know is best for you. The doubters will come and go, but essentially the strongest always survive and the majority will win. So with you, and there's a lovely lady's energy there in the spiritual world that is coming around you, And all I can see with her at the moment is she's got a hand knitted cardigan. And what she's talking about is coldness in the fingers. So I don't know whether there was a circulation problem around her. But what she's done, and luckily I'm not a very huggy person. We spoke about the love and the light. I'm not a very huggy person, but I'm passing on through the airwaves a lovely hug and a kiss for you, and just saying, calm down, sweetheart. Right? I'm not being dismissive or derogatory. She's just bringing your energy down a little bit so that you can get through your daily tasks. But a lot of love coming through for you from the spirit world, Gemma, and from me. Don't let the buggers grind you down.
Me too, Gemma. Nobody puts baby in a corner, so you gotta. Listen, we were talking about Patrick Swayze last night, and I did not appreciate his hotness until after he passed away. So my girlfriend Kay, we were talking about him, and we both were like, yeah, after he passed away, we were like, oh, maybe we just got older. But
can I tell you a little story about that?
Yes.
Very quickly. Right. So I stand up now during demonstrations. I had to be talked in initially to do demonstrations. Very, very, very nervous, and with the anxiety being at a peak. So I go onto stage, and I'm gobby. Right? I'm very vocal, and I realise that when you're gobby and vocal, you will attract other people's attention, and I get that, and I accept that. That's part of the price that I pay. So this is a real room splitter with people when you go on stage, right? So I'll go on stage, and I will go, does anybody here remember the film Dirty Dancing? And of course, if it's full of ladies, I would say 90+% of them, even from, younger age right up to older age ladies, will stick their hands up. And I'll go, did we all enjoy it? So most of the hands will stay up, right? And then I come out with my little hand grenade. Well, I think it was the most sugary, schmaltzy, crap film ever, right? And then that's it. You're stood in that moment. Now, spirit know that I have delivered that statement many, many times, because just all of that particular comment and that scene just goes through me like somebody's tearing the fingers down a blackboard, and they go, nobody puts baby in a corner, and it's delivered in that camp manner, right? So there I am on stage having delivered this truth bomb, and 90% of the women want to kill me. And what spirit do now, at least probably once every couple of shows, is they will pick somebody out because they like to see my response to it, right? That they'll draw me to a lady there that's obviously got, in my eyes, confidence issues or something like that, and I will go, and then I will come out with a statement. So I'm up against it before I even start. But the idea is to bring in that message when nobody puts baby in the corner, is it's actually time for that person to step out of the shadows and come into their own.
Yes. Yes.
Spirit have their bit of humour, and I accept that because I've gobbed off and I'm now being put in my place, and that's fine, not an issue. But when we talk about nobody puts baby in the corner, that's an encouraging sign for me to target. I don't know, if target's the right word, but speak to people and say, right, are we doing everything we can to promote ourselves? As in, are we walking towards what we actually want to achieve? Are we being that queen or king of our own realm? So when it comes in, there's always one of them where I'm like this. I should be holding this back. I should be holding this back. I should be holding this back. Then, bang! There we go, and we're off and running again. But I do find that really amusing. But it still triggers me to this day that when somebody stands there and they go, "Oh, Patrick, oh, he's lovely." I'm going, "Oh."
Listen, I want to get a pottery wheel just so he shows up here as a ghost. So,
my mum told me, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Don't worry. I'll go on your feed of this and make a whole bunch of negative comments later. So, Francois, bonsoir, bonjour, Francois. Francois had an interesting comment. Even a family member. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to talk about this, because it's applicable not just to content creators like us and Gemma. This is something that happens in life. And I was talking with Rick about what I call the psychic atomic bomb. Like, and we all know this kind of person. Somebody walks in. I've been this person. I can totally say that. You walk into a situation, a party, a work meeting, whatever, and you just come in and bomb it with negativity. I've done that. I have absolutely done that. I've done that in board meetings. I have walked in and just gone raw. And it is a powerful moment. Now, when we're dealing with family members, and you can disagree with me, that you can divorce yourself from family members, but you wind up divorcing yourself from your family. I mean, we all see this with Harry and Meghan, which I think the whole adoption of the Sussexes as a surname, I think they're attempting to divorce themselves from the royal family, which is so dramatic and ridiculous. But with family members, how do we best raise our vibration to deal with them? We all have some family members that will display arrogance or display narcissism. Samantha saying narcissistic sister in the comments. I trust in my gifts. So what does that mean? We're all different people within our family. And like, how boring would it be if we were all, Stepford wife, kind of, children of the damned, carbon cutouts? Like, how boring would that be? Like our conversations at, the Christmas dinner table, or, any family event would be super, super boring. And yes, dear, everything is great. It is wonderful. I'm enjoying this turkey. Like that, it would be so boring. So we all have these unique and spectacular gifts. And what we have to do is understand that sometimes our paths will divert from our blood family members. Sometimes our perspectives and the ways that we look at things are going to divert with this Two of Pentacles. We'll be going in a different direction than someone else. Does that mean that we need to cut things off entirely? Not necessarily. Sometimes, yes, we have that Three of Swords here. Sometimes we have to, wrap whatever hurt that is up in a little box and kind of stick it up on a shelf, or throw it in the bucket, as Rick has his little bucket on the side. But we have to just get through it. You can't get hung up on these differences and the conflicts within. Some people live in a state of conflict. Some people thrive in a state of conflict. I always talk about the gals, and I've had this experience with a lot of gals, and I don't know if it's specific to New Jersey, but there are these women that I have encountered that will complain about lunch, complain about a product that they bought, because they think it makes them seem discerning and high class. So they'll be just dissatisfied with everything around them. Is it a mark of the higher classes? No, it's a mark of bad manners. And I think this extends to people, gifting you their craptastic opinion in a family situation, criticizing what you do or what you're doing, competition between grandchildren, pitting the grandchildren against each other, pitting siblings against each other. I think it's I know my grandmother used to do that. She used to say, we have cousins that live in Pennsylvania, and they were much more proper, and they went to church all the time. And my uncle was an elder in the church. And my grandmother would always say, oh, the Jones kids would never do that. And it was so offensive. It was so awful, because it wasn't motivating. It was just critical. So, some people, they are trying to be motivating with that reverse psychology, but they're just not that great at it. I think understanding that we all come with amazing gifts, and that's something that I've always told my children, is you may not be the best biology student, but you're an amazing math student, or you're an amazing English student, you're an amazing creative. There's always something that is great about someone. You always have, everyone has something that's great about them. No one is all bad. And if you shine a light on those bits of greatness that you have, it'll cast out the dark. So, with family members, it's go, oh, well, so a family member of mine was dating someone who was a glass blower. And he did make, smoking devices, things like that. But he also made these beautiful Christmas ornaments. It wasn't the only thing he did, and charged quite about a good amount of money for these products. And everyone in my family, they've since broken up, but everyone in my family was like, oh, he's making pot devices. He's making pot devices. And I've gone on his website and his Etsy, and I was like, no, he's making some really cool stuff. Like, you guys should look, like, he's a real artisan. And they were like, oh, like, because of the association with marijuana, everybody got hung up on, like, this guy was like, practically a dealer. And I was like, no, he's really an artist. Like, go take a look. But, no one wanted to hear that. And they've since broken up. So it is what it is. But what is Spirit telling you about how people should navigate those negative people in their family life? Because you're going to have those interactions and those occasions with them, whether you like it or not. Otherwise, you're going to ostracize yourself from your family. So what's Spirit saying to you, Mr. Rick?
I think there's sort of part therapy and part spirit with this, that you tend to find people that want to go to other people and bring their negativity to them. They're actually projecting their insecurities onto you, and it's whether you want to receive that parcel. I over here, and this is not meant to be offensive, we have what's called the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they always tend to turn up when you're at your busiest and want to sell you a product. Right now, I have done my level best over the years, because to try and imagine what it would be like to be in their shoes, that you constantly get the door shut in your face. So I've gone out of my way to say, right, I'm not interested in what you're selling, but I will pass on good morning and I will speak to you like a human being. So when I use this analogy, it's not meant to be anything personal, but it's just the way that my mind processes. That when people come to you with that negativity and that thing, that they're in essence trying to sell you a product. Now, if you've got somebody coming down your path trying to sell you double glazing, and you lived in a house where you've just had your double glazing done, you would just politely say, thanks very much, I've just had my double glazing done. And we should be the same, I think, at times with when somebody offers that product of crap to us. Right, thanks very much, but I've had my fill of that just recently. I couldn't possibly take on another bite. Now, spiritually, I was woken with a message the other week, because I was over processing and over analyzing something, and it's linked into when my dad passed away. And for those of you guys that don't know, and I'm not looking for sympathy here or anything like that, I want to explain it honestly. When my dad passed away, we didn't have the greatest relationship. I just kept the peace. So grieving on its own is its own incredibly personal journey, and I won't trivialize that for anybody, because I think everybody negotiates that in its own way. So that brought up a lot of memories, but it also triggered a lot of responses to my own life and how I'd managed things. And I sat there and I started to feel agitated, and I started to feel like, I wasn't good enough. I've not done right by X, Y, Z. And if only I'd have done this sort of thing. Spirit came through quite clearly with this one and said, think about it this way. Whatever we experience in life, always thank the teacher. And I thought, that's a bit of a strange response. Always thank the teacher. Well, none of my teachers that I could think of, like from my school days, if I can remember that far back, really taught me anything that was any use. They did the job, and whether we responded in the right way or not wasn't down to them. They did their job. No, think wider. Think it in a wider arc. Thank all teachers. So there I am, sat there, scratching my head, because this is not channeling through very well. And to think about it, if you've had a teacher that's brought you love, light, upliftment, general strength, niceness, put all of those brilliant attributes in towards you, thank them, because they've spent their life's hours inspiring you. So I'm like, okay, I'm on board with that. I get that. And this is the bit where I'll put in my English sort of side of it, because this is how my guide came through to me. But also take time out to thank the tossers as well. And I went, how? Because any of the teachers there that have brought you a horrible experience, trauma, difficulty, narcissism, anger, and brought that all around, how on earth would I want to thank them? Because what they've done is they've taught you a lesson of how you don't want to be, how you wouldn't want anybody else to feel, because you've been in that moment where you've been on the receiving end of it, and it's not nice. So all I talk to people about when we talk about this, I had 12 years in a job where aggression and difficulties and some fights and things like that were like a heartbeat away at any given time. You were on charge, on call all day. So these days, for me, selectively, to get me in a state where I'm angry enough to want to respond to anybody that's throwing in that hand grenade that you spoke of, or the atomic bomb, sorry, throwing in that atomic bomb.
Depends on how big the drama is.
Yeah, it's got to be something significant to even get me involved. So what I do is I'll sit the person down, if it's possible. Right, where are we going with this? Where is this in our reality? And I'll switch the kettle on. And what I've discovered over the years is I've got a low attention span. So I let the people tell their story, tell their drama, whatever it is, and I'll say, how do you expect me to respond to that? Because I'm not going to admit that I'm wrong, because I've already said it. I'm going to find out what makes you in a frame of mind where if you want the win off me, right, take all of the plaudits. If it makes you happy that you think I'm wrong, great, take it with you. And bearing in mind now the kettle is now nearly boiling. So you're running out of time, because all I'm obsessed with in life is drinking tea. So you've got that few seconds while the kettle boils. Right, what is it that will get you to get out of my area? What do you need me to say? So we work through whatever it is, and then walk away whistling, because again, your person there is narcissistic, right? Okay, how are you going to let that affect you? Because they're projecting their insecurities onto you. So where you say trust your gifts, right? This is my belief system. This can be controversial to some people. My belief system is that we write a blueprint for our life before we even get here. And what we've given ourselves, as well as the challenge, is like an amnesia, that we've wrote that and then we start at the beginning with no knowledge, with no idea what we've actually written down until we come to the experiences. So all of these lessons and all of these people are put around us to enable us to progress, so that we learn our lessons. And this is my opinion. This is not stated fact. This is just something that's sort of concocted itself in my addled mind, that spirit in their infinite wisdom are guides. They are not coercive, so they won't push you. They'll shine a light on the pathway for you to show you the way, but you must make that step. So the first time it comes round, something will happen. And I always use the old Grease film. So Grease, doesn't matter whether you put it on the West End stage, you put it on DVD, or if you're old enough, video. There's a start, a middle, and the end. Doesn't matter who plays the role, the storyline always ends the same, whether it's live, whether it's on and then it rewinds. So when you put it in the next time, it is not going to change. So life mirrors that it will show you a lesson that you've agreed to learn. And if you don't get it the first time, then all that happens is that the production moves on to the next venue, and they change the cast members. Only the second time, it's a bit more pushy. It's a little bit more in your face, because you're going to go, oh yeah, wasn't there something about that before? Wasn't there a production like that before? But you've not learnt the lesson, so you've moved on. The second time, it gets a bit more painful, where it will get you personally. It'll get you involved. Now, the third time, if it comes round to that and you've not clicked on, it'll be something that will floor you energetically. And then you'll have the epiphany moment. The light bulb will switch on. Right, okay, I get it now. Right. Once you've done that, what in essence you're doing is preparing yourself for the next lesson, because that's what life's about. It's about getting the lesson, learning the lesson, and progressing your way through that blueprint that you've laid down. So when you've got people that you've got that label there, that they're narcissistic or they're horrible, they're difficult or anything like that, right, there's your lesson. They're narcissistic, but they own that. That's theirs. Well, if you can imagine now, well, right, okay, the only way that they're going to have any influence on me is if I turn up to their party. So I refuse to go to the party. So what I do, I don't have arguments with people. I cut my attention span. I just cut the cord with it in my imagination. And there may be a proper procedure for doing this, but this is how I do it. This is how I personally do it. So I will still engage with those people if they want to talk to me. But I hear Beaker out the Muppets. I used to love the Muppets when I was a kid. Still a big animal fan these days. But the technique that I use in my mind for an overlay is I hear Beaker. Right? And all I hear when that person starts with all of their dialogue is me, 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 me. And I'll stand there and I'll nod in the appropriate places. Me, 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 me. But no part of me is engaged. Right? I'm not feeling the feelings. I'm not thinking the thoughts. I'm just up in the box with Statler and Waldorf and looking at Beaker talking, because I find that funny. If you look at overlaying their vocabulary, then you are in fact distancing yourself or cord cutting around those people. So again, it comes back to, and I like simple. I work with the old army mentality of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So it's knowing your inner being, what triggers you. Right. So if you go to this person and they immediately trigger you, what is it that you need to learn? Well, you need to learn not to be anywhere near their energy because it pisses you off. Or pisses you off. Right. So it's about knowing who you are. And we're back to that earlier point of being the ruler of your own mind, being the ruler of your own realm. So what I would say to you, Francois, and we get there eventually, is just don't let them get into you. Let them have their labels. Let them label you, but you don't have to own it. So because there's always something around that next corner. I went to watch a famous comedian the other night, and it was lovely. Watch the intonation of his voice towards the end. There's just been huge humor towards, I've never laughed so much in my life in recent years as what I did at his thing. And then he came out towards the end and he went, and that's my life. That's my journey. That is what I've experienced. That is what I believe to be correct. And always remember this, whatever you think, there's always something around that next corner. And I just thought, what a lovely way to sum up, because that's the problem with getting into problems and solving and all of that sort of thing. It's all about perspective. If you don't have a perspective on it, you don't get yourself involved in it, you don't get hurt. Only look for the positives, only look for the upliftment out of it. It's just a few thoughts. And then at the end of the day, they're all words. They're not going to hurt you, are they? So it's up to you. It's up to you. I'll just leave that one with you.
And I had a little bit of a light bulb moment while you were talking about, the other professional in my inverted commas, that had some obnoxious words for me. I'm not just going to ignore it, because I'm going to throw my own psychic hand grenade at it and say, you know what? I hope you have a great effing day. I hope your day is better today. I hope that your psychic abilities blossom and bloom. And I hope that you can live within that positivity that you're allegedly spreading. That's just how I feel about it. I think, and we're in such a not to get like too broad on this, but the world is on fire right now, not in the, Graham Hancock sense, but in the sense that, we are so divisive, and especially here in America, there's so much going on, adding a little bit of good into all of that. And, for those of you that are aware of our Psychic News Universe show that we have with host Rob Akampora, that's really like, we're going to do the news and kind of give our psychic spin on it, use the psychic scope and look at some of these events. And, we're going to offer advice as to like how we can right the ship, and I said to everybody when I proposed that we do the Psychic News Universe, that a high tide raises all ships, which is a John F. Kennedy saying. If we do this energetically, we can kind of lift everybody up. Trevor, we were talking about you a little bit earlier. You know what? Let's give Trevor a card, because Trevor, we're throwing some positivity at the negativity that's in the terrestrial soup. So just to catch you up, we're talking about haters, because haters can kind of muck up the works of stuff, and how we can best respond to them. And I had a couple of haters in my comments, weird haters, but let's throw out, this is for you, Big Trev. So come home to your body, and we'll do some tarot on top of that. So this is, it's kind of wild that this came up, because I gained a lot of weight since Greg and I got married. And I think part of it is because I don't ground myself enough. I get super psychic and into the ethereal, and I forget about my terrestrial body. So I think my body was like, F you, we're gonna give you a fat ass so that you can be a little bit more grounded. I'm not even kidding. I totally think that happened. So, when we get into these situations with, people that are throwing out all these psychic negativity bombs and negativity hand grenades and atomic bombs and whatnot, sometimes we have to come home to our body, to our physical terrestrial body. So, I just started this boot camp program. I've been coached by Hutch for the last few months, and I decided I have to do a class. I have to get into an energetic sphere like that, where everybody's kind of, feeding off the same energy. I took a first class with my sister-in-law boot camp. My butt hurts today, but my legs hurt today, but I'll be fine tomorrow. But it's bringing me home to my body so that I can make more balanced decisions. When we get too ethereal, when we get too terrestrial, we can sometimes not make a balanced decision that's going to be appropriate for our spirit, our ethereal spirit, and also our terrestrial form and spirit that we're in now. So for you, coming home to your body is a good thing, because it is going to give you that balance. It's going to give you perspective. It's going to clear out the cobwebs, the psychic cobwebs. This Hanged Man is all about how our actions affect others. So this is a mirror that we hold up to see what is the interaction with this other person. And, sometimes when the universe throws us haters, it's to remind us not to be that guy, not to be that gal, not to be that person. So this is really curious. I don't think that this is, specifically about you, what you did, but it's, look, this is an example. This is a teacher, just like that woman who, the other professional that made the comment. She, she's got love and light all over her channel, but she came at me with hate. So I'm going to throw some love and light back at her. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, you just showed me that people that are not authentic, that are not doing the right thing, they can put up this facade and then come, in the back door with crappy comments. I think Rick and I, like, we're not normal psychics. Alicia Wicker, somebody made some negative comments about her on my one of my streams. And I stepped right to that person, because we are not candy floss psychics. We're going to tell it like it is. We're going to tell you how we feel. We're going to tell you what spirit says. So, looking at the negative comments that the people are making, and Trevor, we know who we're talking about. Looking at the negative comments, we can turn that into magic. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, is when somebody steps to you with that smile and wave. The this tattoo that's on my wrist was for a guy that I was dating that was unfortunately killed in a car accident. And one of the great takeaways from my experience with him, when he he's half Italian, half Irish, and he was like crazy guy. And he would just say, he wasn't as hyper as I am, but he would just say, Anna, just smile and wave. Like when somebody drives you nuts, just smile and wave. And I hear that come through all the time when I get like, all fired up and crazy and the Italian side kicks in. I hear just smile and wave, just smile and wave. So, seeing the negativity is for you, Trev, this is a mirror, and it's just a signpost that says you're not this. You don't need to be this. You don't need to sink to that level. High vibes only. This will give you the tools and the magic that you need to keep creating the special magic that you have. So, Rick, what's spirit telling you?
Oh, I'll be honest, I'm a little
Is
bit
it not safe
nervous
for work?
with who I'm reading for, but I can't change my style, so I've got to go with what I've been given there. The thing there that sort of jumped out to me was the come home to yourself, which for me, I feel for you, Trevor, that there's 3 people, and I believe that there were ex-comrades from your service. So it's like kind of 3 people coming in as a crew that protects you. Right, I feel that they were separate battles, so separate casualties. I've watched your lives, obviously. I'm not going to lie about that. I know about your army background, but I get this sense. So how I work with spirit is I get told a word, and then I sort of expand on the word. So I get the 3 gentlemen that come in. They're like your background crew. They'll follow you anywhere, and one of them's just said they'll follow you most places just to see what you get up to next. So there's a real sense of camaraderie and fun that they bring in. One of them is talking to me about being a Guinness drinker, and it's almost like somebody who smokes a cigarette right down to the stub and then puts out another one. He's like that with pint glasses, so he's a big drinker. There is an Irish connection with one as well that is coming in, but it's all word chatter. So I went to the cards then when I'm looking at the cards there, and what's being shouted at me loud and clear, it's now time for you to stand down a little bit. We need a little bit of R&R, a little bit of a recharge for you. I looked at the Hanging Man, and from my perspective, I don't know anything about reverse cards. I've not taken the time to learn about them, but I'm looking at that, and I think and I feel for you that it is now time for you to take some time out. And the Hanging Man for me is all about perspective, how you think things are. Right, for me, you've done all of your work. It's now time to sort of sit back and just watch how it goes, because my guide was coming in and going slowly catchy monkey. And the thing about there, as well as I do, that we can't be 100% full bore all of the time. We need that R&R, the break from the mind. So that coming home to your body is actually just taking time out to sit in your own personal power, to sit in your own, in your own environment, but with just you. Right, I understand you've got a strong relationship. I understand that you've got all of your Trevorites and everybody there following you. But how often do you just sit with Trevor? Right? Do you actually sit there and just go, shit, some days I have been through a lot, and just take time out to take account of what's happened, what it's taken out of your energy gauge. And the thing is, we're all different when we read tarot. But that magician card is just absolutely amazing, because I feel with all of that is windows of opportunity, where everything is in an alignment. It's almost like being given your bag of sweets and saying, which one of them do you want to gorge on? Because everything's right in divine timing. I'm going to bring something in that I don't usually do when I'm working, which is a prediction. Right? I don't know whether this is talking about potential or whether that's in your mindset. But there's something in the background that I feel connects with TV, Trevor, right? That's not on YouTube, that's not on media, but something of an interesting project. And how it was being pitched to me was like a chat show. but you as host, in some way or another, I know all of the work that you do on the internet, and I know your connections, but I feel that there's something in the offing there. It will link in with all of your books and all of that sort of thing, but I can't quite place it at the minute because it's not neat enough, and I'm not a predictor, so I don't tend to deal with the future a lot. But if you can take from me that there's that need for the R&R, take the love from the three gentlemen there, because they're not relations. I don't want to say that they're bringing in family members there, but just to come back to yourself is to just take time out and be in yourself, because I've watched how you've handled that. I've watched how another professionals handled that, and I think your way has been absolutely brilliant. You've recorded it, you've backed yourself up, you've got everything in knowledge there, and you know in your heart that everything is going to turn out in the way that it's meant to be. I watched another professional on there that works at a lot higher rate than what I do go and engage with every single troll with a comment, and I thought, fair play to you if you've got the stones to do that. But God, is that draining on your energy direction, because the trolls and all of that feed off it. And the bits that I have seen of the people that have been having a go at you, my God, they need some help. Because when their atomic bomb lands on them, they're not going to know what's hit them. So I've gone on long enough, Trevor. I hope that makes a little bit of a sense, because I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about reading for you because of your reputation on here. But the thing is, spirit never lie. I might get it wrong, but spirit never lie.
Rick, you're onto something, because I gave Trevor that same prediction, and I didn't tell you about it a few months ago. I had said he had something interesting coming up like that, so pretty cool. I pulled some people card for him too. This is the gypsy fortune telling system, and I got waiting for a message of love, and it's actually, this is kind of weird, waiting for the message of love that's going to come out of the ashes, out of this misfortune. So it's almost like someone shoots themselves in the foot. Let's just put it that way. So throwing, I don't want to say throw a love bomb at anybody, because you can't hug a porcupine, but well, I mean, you can if you really want to. Just smile and wave like that. My buddy Danny is sending the message, smile and wave. So, Trevor, I hope you have a great freaking day. I hope you have an awesome lunch. I keep seeing him with pints, and like every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I really want a pint of beer, but my fat terrestrial ass is not letting me drink too much beer right now. So let's throw another random. Let's lift up somebody else in the comments. Let's see who else. You know what? Samantha's chatting away. Let's get Samantha some uplift.
Brilliant.
Samantha, I'm gonna PM you on the Discord too. So let's see. Actually, I'm just gonna put it. Come to Belfast. There we go. So let's lift up Samantha here. So this is going to be your psychic negativity defense mechanism for today. We're giving everybody a little weaponry. Take the weight of the world off your shoulders. So what my intuition, what Spirit's saying to me, is that this is pruning. So if our daily life is a tree or a bush, sometimes we have to give up the work that doesn't have anything to do with us. So and that's where we get these people, these gummy people that throw their negativity at us, that say, I don't like that. I don't like. We have a friend who every time we say, oh, let's have a whiskey tasting party, let's go to this place, let's do after Halloween, like candy and wine pairing. I don't like that. I know it's like one thing. They're like, I don't like that. And like sometimes you just have to say, no, we're not doing this. The Jersey Girl came out. We're not doing this. Anna Miller showed up. Oh my God. So sometimes you have to prune that tree or cut back the hedges. And you just have to say, I'm not going to be a part of this energy. I'm not going to participate in the game. And it's a little bit similar to the message that we got for Gemma just before. It's not worth the investment in some cases. You know, for me, for my experience that I just had, it was worth it. I wanted to throw that super positivity on top of this person. But sometimes we have to pull the plug on it and we don't have to participate. And, you know, Trevor's message was the same too. Take time for yourself, step out of that. There's a lot of energy that's going around. And, you know, if we take a few minutes again to create that psychic armor and to deflect it, that's one thing. If we're going to be proactive and deflect that, the negativity that gets thrown our way, those psychic hand grenades and bombs, you know, that's one thing. But if we just not worry about correcting the behaviors of others, and this is a pattern that we can get in when we deal with negative people. They say something negative and we're like, no, you're wrong. And I'm going to defend myself to the end of the road. Sometimes that's not a good expenditure of energy. Sometimes we just have to go, you know what? I hope you have a great day in your ignorance. I hope that you, so who was it? Louis C.K. did that skit on his kid and she said they were pig Newtons, not fig Newtons. Do you have fig Newtons in Britain? So it's a cookie. It's not my favorite cookie, but it's got fig on the inside. It's like kind of a cakey thing. Yeah. Oh, you don't like figs?
No.
Oh,
No.
Oh my God. All right. We'll talk more about figs later. But
Right.
So the little kid said to him, they're pig Newtons, Daddy. And he was like, good luck getting along in the world like that. Like sometimes you have to have that attitude. You know, like, all right, that's your belief. That's great. Go with God, you know. Sometimes it's not worth it because we're not planting seeds. You know, we just have to say, in the bucket, in Rick's famous bucket, we're going to chuck it in the F it bucket. And we're just going to go, you know what? You have a great day. You just kind of do that. And, you know, you do you, because you're not going to be able to germinate anything in that negative soil. That is somebody who is just not going to be convinced, not going to be converted to your way of thinking. So sometimes you just got to shrug it off and know that that's not a teachable moment for them. The teachable moment is for you to read and understand those moments that are not of value to you, that the lesson is doing nothing. The lesson is demonstrating nothing and not giving up your energy. Your thoughts, Rick?
Well, there's lots going through my mind there, as say, being the king of sarcasm that I am. You could quite simply turn around to the detractors and say there's two types of opinion. There's the correct one, and then there's yours. You know, that's the first observation. And the other thing, to be a little bit more serious with you, because I am just I've come back from, just to explain my flippancy. I've come back from an amazing weekend away where I've been working and I've been very, very busy. So I'm like, the energy bar needs topping up. So my emergency handbrake's not very good at the moment. You know, that things slip out of my mouth at the moment that possibly shouldn't. It just portrays me as anything less than professional, but it's, hey ho, it's one of those. But my thoughts were, when I was looking at those cards there for you, Samantha, is I don't know anything about you. That's the thing. But what I can say is that I know you supported me. You put some very kind comments on the stuff that I've been doing. And I'm fledgling to all of this, but you've been there right from the very beginning. And what that shows me about you is that you're an empath. Right? I didn't know what an empath was when I started out with all of this. I truthfully didn't. It was just one of those. I just saw myself as a serial mouthpiece. And if I kept it like the program catchphrase here, where you say what you see, then if anybody challenged me and they came back at me and went, yep, that's what I said. Right. But then when you start to realize that everything that you do, say, and get involved in has got a price to your energy. So you might get up all high and all, you know, dancing and all love like clouds and fluffy. And then somebody comes in and pisses on your strawberries. And you take that personally, right? So your empathy has an extremely high price. So to maintain that high price, we've got to do a lot of grounding. We've got to do a lot of work of keeping us away from the detractors, being in those environments with people that want to cast out those bombs, hand grenades, whatever it is. But we need to be more mindful of the self. And a lot of people will go, oh, yeah, I know, but I'm a giver. Right. Yeah, that's great. That really is great. But when you're laid on the floor, having took one too many kickings from the outside world, who comes and protects you? And at the end of the day, all of these perspectives and all of these opinions and all of this sunshine's gone away and we've all switched off from this filming, we're left with us, right? You would not advocate to anybody just go out there and run in front of that bus. But essentially, with energy, we're doing that sometimes, because it doesn't matter how much love and light and rainbows and pixies we throw at people. If they're not ready to receive it, they're not ready to get the right answer, do we take that personally? No, we don't. But it is a life's lesson of how we handle our energy. We are spending our energy, everything that we get involved in. So I would say to you is, look at the world that you're inhabiting, your own personal world. Do you give yourself self-care? Do you look after yourself? Do you fight all of your battles for yourself first, or are you constantly giving away your energy and your life hours? And if that's your choice, that's fine, because you will continue to run along that path. But consider what your returns are from your energy investment. So what cards do we get at the bottom there? Because I can't quite see them on my screen.
So this is the Queen of Wands in reverse. I'll come down a little bit more. There we go. Queen of Wands in reverse, which is, giving up that fight and giving up the emotion. More importantly, giving up that, like I want to go right for this person. It's giving that up. And the Fool is recklessly free, because he's in reverse. So he's just like, this is one of those situations where you have to just jump into the wind and just let the situation take you where it will. Let the storm leave, be behind you. You're going to jump into it and you're just going to go. I think a river is actually a better description of this. So you would jump into the rapids and get out of that situation and float down the river. Because here we have that Empress in reverse, and nothing is going to grow when there's the Empress in reverse. We're just not going to get any yield out of this fertile soil. And that's the negative person that you would be dealing with. They're not a fertile soil. If they're negative, the soil is sour. It is not going to blossom or bloom or make anything good show up. So that's really, with everything's in reverse here. So we don't have productivity, getting rid of that emotion, not, wanting to engage on this trip, not wanting to go down the path on this adventure with this person who's super negative. And here the reason is because we're just not going to yield anything. It's not going to turn into anything good.
Right, so you're throwing, for me, listening to that, you're throwing seeds on barren ground.
Yeah.
You're still doing the broadcasting and throwing the seeds out there, but your expectation is not actually meeting your experiences. And just very briefly, so that I don't cut you off again, because that was very rude of me, but just
that's okay.
Something just coming in there. I got a lady in spirit for you, Samantha. Now, this is where I have to be careful when I'm telling people about how my spirit works, how it actually comes out in practicality. So I am not saying this is mum, but the words I heard was, listen to your moody mother, right? So somebody out there that's got your back, in the sense of probably a little bit older than you, that it supports you, that comes in and works with you while you're working spiritually. So there's a time to sort of fight, and there's a time not to. So it's trying to find that middle ground. But when I say middle ground, it's not compromising. Do not take this as compromising your integrity. Look at where you want to be, but be in your reality. All of the efforts that you're investing in whatever's going on there, are you getting any signs of a return? Because it maybe, for me, is time to change strategies. certainly working on whatever you feel on a daily basis. This is what I'm having to learn about my mentality. There are days when I'm going to get up where I could take on the world. Like I'm feeling strong enough to carry as many people's energies as I can. But there are other days where I get up and it's hard to string a sentence together. The anxiety gets that high that what I found in it is if I get too many choices, what tends to happen is I then shut down, because it's not because I can't make a decision, but it's just the thing of too many weight of people's opinions, whatever was going on in my head. So then I'll retreat. So I would be looking at what your energy's like on any given day before you decide what your next battle strategy is. But remember about being an empath. If that switch is always switched on, you will always have a queue of people, because it's your energy that is attracting people towards you, because they know that they will get good advice off you. And I said to somebody the other day, they said, how do you get started with mediumship and psychic work and things like that? I says, put it out there for free. I says, you're guaranteed that you're going to get an audience, but the thing is it your right audience? So I would say, and I'm no life guide as such. I just talk off what I feel, that there are big changes coming in for you over these next few months. But I would be saying, okay, thank you, I might accept that, but I want to have a hand in how that is structured. And I would be, as I say, repeating myself and just looking at how I can personally cope with that. Not what anybody else thinks, whether it's right or wrong. On, say, I get up tomorrow morning, I've got a load of things to make a choice on or react to. What energy level have I got? How am I personally going to process this? And what's being said to me out there, and I can just hear it echoing down the channels, is you're an amazing person. But every now and again, you need to echo that to yourself and just remember who the are. Okay? So I'm not going to lecture you anymore. Much love and light coming out for you from the spiritual world. And there's something about rearranging your cupboards that needs to be looked at. Now, I'm not sure whether this is spiritually or in your house with your housework. And remember, it's not me that's saying that, okay?
So I think that's awesome. And she commented that this is pretty spot on. So that's awesome. So let's do this, Rick, because we're coming up on an hour and a half. And let's do like a general, because again, like we're gonna be that high tide right now. We're gonna bring in the high tide. So I'll be the moon, you can be the water, and we'll bring in we're gonna bring everybody up a little bit. So this will be a general for everyone, and how all of us can work collectively to kind of raise the vibes on our weird, oh my God, my high vibes heal the world. And that's what I was going to say. Like, let's do something that will kind of bring everybody up today. So this is exactly what we were talking about earlier, is that, if you promote positivity, if you promote good stuff, and that's, again, the understanding, some of us, we're all salty and sweet at the same time. You can't be all blah, blah, because then you're just going to be like this hippy dippy, and no one's going to take you seriously. If you're afraid to step on grass because you're going to hurt the grass, we have to still exist like a normal person. You have to be practical. You can't, I can't eliminate all carbs. I'm sorry, Hutch, if you're watching this, I cannot eliminate all carbs. Actually, he advised that I eat carbs the other day. But if we use our energy to be as high vibing as possible, we will generate that out. It will affect other people. What was our saying last week, Rick? Vibe with the tribe?
Yeah, vibe with the tribe. We're vibing with the tribe.
So this is our little Monday morning tribe. I put it in the comments. And you know what? Maybe that's the name of this show. Maybe we should be Vibe with the Tribe on Monday. I was trying to go with like a Monday thing, but I think it's Vibe with the Tribe. So what is Spirit saying to you about, the effects of our positivity, our individual positivity on the collective? How does How does spirit feel about that? Or does spirit say, sit down, Anna, like, you calm down?
No, the thing is about me, I'm a simplistic guy, and I look at the energy work that I do, and I find myself blessed beyond belief that I've been lent a gift, right? And that's the thing, I've been lent it. When I did my very brief service in the army, which was 6 weeks when I was a kid, I remember going down to do the training and the thing to actually get in there. And the sergeant major, when we'd done the runs and the tests and all of that sort of thing, called everybody out and said, sorry, you guys haven't passed. And then the ones that are left, right, you're fortunate enough to have made the cut and you're going forward. And he always said this. He said that, remember, what Sergeant Major gives you, Sergeant Major can take away. So I always remember that in regards to my spirituality, that I've been given this amazing gift, this amazing special power that is like with any superhero, it only works if you use it for good and upliftment. So my idea with every part of me that I invest in there is to bring in that upliftment. My belief system is that everything that we send out into the world comes back to us. My spiritual belief is that for every pound that I invest in the spiritual world, then £10 of it will come back. And as I said to you,
I like that kind of return on investment. That's pretty good. I interrupted you. Sorry.
Well, that's 1-1 then, isn't it? Because I did this. But my spirit, my feeling is, because this is all about feelings, is that if we send that out there, and there'll be people out there that watch this on later on that'll be thinking hippy dippy or, you know, opinionate, whatever that is the thing. But if they take one acorn of it, like one little tiny piece of it, and they go out there and it just helps them over that little hurdle for the morning, or it inspires them, or they pass on a smile to somebody else out there. Our world, whether we understand it or not, and from whatever perspective that we're at, needs healing, right? And there's, I don't know how many billions of people there are on the planet. There's always going to be somebody at war with somebody else. But the collective, the majority always wins. In whatever situation, the majority always wins. And I saw something on Facebook the other day saying that what can I impact? You know, I'm just one person. Well, that one person put with another person starts to build something. If they're building with positivity, the foundations go in with positivity. And the more people that we include in that, the larger the impact is. So I agree with you 100% that energy that is positive attracts positive energy. And anything that comes at us that is crap or isht, I got away with that one, didn't I? Isht. Mirror up. Let the bugger bounce off, or message me and put it in my big bucket, which I'm getting away with today because I'm not swearing. It must be because I'm tired, because normally it just comes floating out of my mouth. But we've got it. It's an old saying, isn't it? From little acorns, great oak trees grow. So ground yourself, deal with the stuff that you can deal with, and the stuff that you can't, let it go by the wayside. Do not attach your energy and your life's hours to it. People are entitled to their opinion. And as I said last week on the one we did last week, there's a chapter in my book that says opinions are like bumholes because everybody's got one. And they're entitled to it. That's the thing. The only thing that they're not entitled to is to impact on you unless you let it. So positivity attracts more positivity. And that's my philosopher's hat now going on the side.
So with that, call to action for everybody here. You know, we're not mechanics, like we're not fixing you today. I mean, a few people got readings, and that's great. We had Trevor stop by, who's always a delight. Drop some positive hand grenades today. So if you go out to the store, so one of my nephews had this ex-girlfriend, and she loved to shop. She's absolutely gorgeous and an absolute delight. Smart girl, beautiful girl, came from this gorgeous Jamaican family. And when I found out she liked to shop, I'm like, let's go shopping. And so we would go. She was this skinny. She was great to shop with. And we were online. It was a really long line. And I started talking to the people around me because I'm a line talker. And she goes, "Oh, you're a line talker." And I go, "Yeah, aren't you?" And she was like, "No, not really." And I was like, "Yeah, well, we're all waiting here. Like, we may as well chit chat with Gabby." She was young. She was like 18 or 19. And I was like, "We may as well like talk to the people instead of sitting here like face like thunder waiting for the line to go." So, when I see people at, a drive through, I'm like, "Hey, have a great day." Like everybody is going through their own struggle. And sometimes we see it and sometimes we don't. Sometimes they wear it like a badge, sometimes they wear it like a hat. But if we're just a little bit kind to people, and that could be a smile. You're driving down the road and you see somebody there, hey, smile over at them. It doesn't hurt anybody to do that. When I went to that class the other day, when I went to boot camp, there's a gal in there and she had these amazing leggings on. I was like, "I love your leggings." And she was like, "I was really freaked out about wearing these today." She was like, "They're a little loud." I'm like, "No, they're like awesome loud." Doing that is, and I'm not saying, just exclusively, unsolicited opinions about people's fashion or what they're doing, but, being positive and, throwing a smile, maybe throwing an extra buck on for a tip or an extra pound on for a tip when you go out to eat something. Um, you know, does it really, is it too much? It's not too much. Just being a little bit happy, walking out in the day and saying, "I'm going to be a little bit more pleasant than the next person." I think that it does have a cumulative effect. And I think, we do kind of raise that tide again. Because that's what this little collab that we're doing is all about. It's about raising the tide and getting people more positive and getting people to be a bit more spiritual without being like totally wacky and out there spiritual. We want to like find that sweet spot. Rick and I, we seem to find the sweet spot, and we curse a little and we laugh a little and we're snarky. You have to find that sweet spot. We need to live in an existence that's sustainable, and throwing a smile, throwing a little hand grenade of kindness at someone is not that difficult. It doesn't make the world rotate a little bit slower. So call to action today for everybody. Go out there, do something, just say something nice to somebody. If it's at the bank, if it's a dog walker, like you see somebody, their dog's pooping on the side of the road and you happen to have a bag on you, you hand them the bag. Like there's a nice kind act. We're cleaning up the world too. I think, doing that at the end of the day, and the Hutch does this. The Hutch reminds me all the time to calculate my wins at the end of the week or the end of the day. And that's something that I would fail regularly to do in the last few years because I was just moving so quickly. If you smile at a stranger and they go, "Oh, hey, that's kind of cool," and they go, "Oh, hey, hope you have a good day," that's a win for the day, even though it's not, a huge win. That's a little win. And if we mind the pennies, the dollars take care of themselves. We mind the pence, the pounds take care of themselves. So I think, doing that kind of stuff spiritually is really great. It's an easy thing to do. You don't have to, extend yourself too much. It's energy that is going to come back to you and in a positive way. It's an energetic investment that will pay dividends eventually. Agree, Rick?
100%. Shall I do my exercise program for everybody? I know we did it last week. If anybody was watching last week, about the exercise program that I prescribe.
Yes.
Right. So this is linking into last week. If you saw it last week, I apologize that I'm repeating myself. Well, actually, no, I don't apologize.
No, I think we should do it every time. I think everyone needs to be reminded of this. Yes.
Right. So sat in front of this camera is a fat bloke. There's a skinny bloke trying to crawl out of him, but at 51, I don't know whether I've got the wherewithal to want to let him out. So I do minimal exercise these days. I've come from a background of the gym. I spent many happy hours in the gym. and I've had back injuries and a few knocks and bruises and things like that. So now my exercise regime is severely limited. But I devised this one thing that we can all do. And it ties up the positivity theme absolutely lovely. So you guys out there, I can only hope that you take this on board. You don't have to do it, but it works. I promise you. And it's building on the theme of problem solving, dealing with any negative energy and the people that are around you. So all you have to do is when you wake up tomorrow morning, one repetition, one exercise, quite simple. Either hand or both hands, either that way or that way. It's up to you. And all I want you to do is put your hand out in the room that you're in. And if you can feel the walls as I'm sat in this small room, you can feel your partner. If you're lucky enough to have a partner, you can feel your bedclothes, your dressing gown or anything like that. You've got the opportunity to change anything that you didn't manage to complete yesterday, right? So there are no problems, right? There's no problem that you can't contend with. So one exercise, right? We can feel the air about us. So that gives us positivity for the day. There's only ever one problem with that if we put our hands up one morning and we've got wooden soil above us, because that we can't change. And then when you think that through, there isn't a problem with that anyway, because if we wake up with wooden soil above us, we're gone anyway. So there are no problems in life that we can't solve. And get into the habit of dealing with things that you can deal with, right? Put your energy towards whatever you like, but look at the energy investment. What does it take out of you? What does it give you in return? So problem solving is great if you can influence it, but spending many hours ruminating, getting anxious, preparing for something that you don't want to even deal with, and being on alert all of the time, believe you me, is energy sapping. So don't spend your life's hours in what if land. Spend your life's hours here, being instead of doing. And the more that you be, the less that you're running around, the more time you've got to problem solve. So remember, no problems in this world, one exercise, one repetition. And this is where I am going to get a bit hippy dippy. Thank you to all you guys that have supported me through my recent difficulties and offered, support, a kind word or anything like that. Because I'm telling you from a personal perspective, it makes a hell of a difference, because we all have dark tunnels to walk through in life, whether we like it or not. Everybody's got a backstory, but having people behind you collectively brings you out into the light that bit quicker. So on that, thank you.
And thank you everybody for hanging out. I see Tara just jumped in, but we're going to wrap it up. And we'll be back next Monday. We'll have fun. So we'll all do our exercise next Monday, and we'll have some fun. But definitely go out today and just drop a little positivity seed, or lob a positivity hand grenade at somebody, or drop a positivity atomic bomb. Whatever you got. And then tonight, log that in as a win. That was a win. Even if you don't see the yield from it right away, that's a win for today. If you throw some good out there, it's a win. You're already winning, and it's gonna come back to you. So I love this. I love that we're doing this on Mondays. I think it's a great start to the week. I think it's really a good thing. Maybe we'll stick with some of the oracle cards on this too, because this vibe deck is really, it's singing lately for everybody. So super fun. But guys, we'll be back next week. Actually, who knows? You may see us before then. But Rick, how do people get a reading with you or spiritual guidance? Did they email you? Is that the best way for them to contact you?
It is, with it being such an international reach. Medium Rick 007 at gmail.com. Or if you're on Facebook, I've got 2 pages on there, my spiritual medium page and the Urban Angel, if I get my right teeth in, soul guidance page. I'm not always the quickest on tech, but I do get back to people, and I do take that part of it seriously. It's just my drive is wanting to help people. It's just building on how we manage to do that. So when I talk to you guys, I'm not saying I'm an expert on it. I've still got my L plates on in regards to how I manage my life. But my sole reason for doing all of this is that I hope that people don't suffer in the way that I've done. So if people can learn from a negative and turn that into a positive, then you've got one happy bald bloke sat here.
Well, I think that you're an expert. So, if anybody wants coaching on raising their spirituality, raising their connection with spirit, getting a reading, go give Rick an email, drop him an email. He'll schedule with you. If you want just, tarot reading advisement from me, you can always go to fortunecookiestarot.com. You can always go through there. It is our pleasure. This is part of our positivity bomb that we do every single day as spiritual guides. Like, we are trying to do that. And that's why Mondays, next week when we do this, I want to make sure I turn the super chats and super stickers off, because I don't want anybody to ever feel like they need to donate on this. This is our gift back to you guys. We want to raise your vibration. We want to bring you guys up. We want to help you live your best life and share our gift a little bit. So with that, we're going to say goodbye. Everybody have a great afternoon or great morning, whatever part of the world you're in. And we'll see you all soon. We'll see you next week. Bye now.